Today's verse, Isaiah 40:29, says, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. So today we're going to talk about the foods that make you feel weary and make you feel weak, make you feel tired and sluggish and bloated. And then next week, we'll talk about the foods that give you strength and increase your power and increase your energy. So for today, I want you to think about what foods make you feel sluggish, loaded, and heavy. What foods make you feel gross? What ones take away your energy and make it so you just don't feel good? I saw a post in a group one time, and the woman said, What foods do you eat that make you feel bloated? And she said for her, it was pastries. And she'd been eating a lot of them over the week. And so then her jeans weren't fitting because her stomach was bloating. So she knew it was the problem, and yet she still did it. And at the time, I was being very judgy. But then I realized I've done the same thing. We all do it. So for me, the foods that make me feel gross, bloated, tired are breads, pastries, pasta, white rice, pizza, anything with a lot of white flour in it, or processed foods. Foods that have a lot of sugar are also going to make me feel very tired. And I used to default to those all the time. I would sit in front of the TV. I'd eat a big bag, like the family size bag of chips and a big container of dip. And I would be eating it because I wasn't feeling good. I was feeling gross, down, heavy, not feeling good about myself. And so then I would eat the food that makes me feel that way. I'd shove it in my mouth, eating. And then I would feel even worse afterwards. In fact, I felt even more gross because now I had filled my body full of the food that made me feel that way even more. And then I'd be mad at myself for eating it. So even while I was eating it, I'd be saying, why are you doing this? And then I would say, well, I'll just finish this bag and then I won't ever buy it again. Have you done that? We get into the routine of, I'll do it just this one more time and then I'll never do it again. But that's not the way to live life. Depriving yourself of things that you love is not a lifestyle you really want to live, is it? So don't lie to yourself. Don't deny that you're not going to eat it again. We're going to eat it again. You're going to have it again. So there's no need to have one final binge. And we'll talk later about how to eat those kinds of foods in moderation. Which foods do you default to on a regular basis? What are the foods that when you say, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, I need to eat something right now? What are the foods that you grab for in that moment? For me, it would be carbs, bread, chocolate, pastries, because my body knows those foods are going to give me a quick sugar rush. And unfortunately, I'm also going to get the sugar drop within half an hour. Then I'm going to feel tired and listless. So a trick to that is keeping your sugars balanced so that you don't have those drops in sugar. But we'll talk about that in another video as well. What emotions are associated with your go-to foods? If I'm feeling down, angry, sad, those are the times that I used to reach for the gross foods, the ones that were going to make me feel the way I was already feeling. So instead of eating nutritional food that would improve my mood, I used to eat to treat the mood that I was already feeling. It was like feeding the monster. It reminds me of when I was a kid, my mom used to have Monster dough, a big bowl in the fridge. And I think now they call it sourdough starter. But she would get the starter from somebody, and then you would have to add flour and I don't know what else to it, but you'd have to add different things to it every day. And then this monster dough would grow, and then you would have to bake something with it, and then you would grow it some more for a few days. And it kind of makes me think of our eating, like we're already feeling doughy, And then we feed ourselves with stuff that's going to make us feel even doughier. So I have some questions for you today, and I want you to write them down because I want you to journal on it. And the reason why is so that you can recognize the foods that are low energy foods for you, so that you're just more aware of what's going into your mouth. So question number 1, what foods rob you of your energy or make you feel sluggish? And number 2, which of the foods do you default to or eat regularly for a quick pick-me-up or quick satisfaction? How do you feel when you eat those foods, or what emotions are associated with the food? And is there a certain time of day that you tend to go towards those foods? So what foods rob you of energy? What ones do you normally default to? How do you feel when you eat them? What emotions are associated with it? And what time of day do you find you go to those foods? Like I said, next week we'll talk about high energy foods, so be sure to watch for it. And here's to living the fab, fit, and free life you desire and deserve.